P, those are the names of the letters. It's not their sound, right? Because if we talk about, well, Bob, B is the name of the letter. The sound is B. So we don't say B-I-B, we say Bob, right? We don't say T-I-B-A, right? So we don't use B as its sound. B 是它的名字，它的名字叫 B， 可是它的音是 B。 Alright, so B-A-B. Okay, but that causes other problems. What we want to look at is when you have a word like 吃, 有母音吗？它是有声还是无声？ Right? 它的音是无声。吃这个注音有声还是无声？是 is 有声，吃是无声，所以它的音是吃。But when you use it in a word, you add a vowel, right? You add a vowel to make a syllable. 因为每个音节需要母音 ，OK? So 吃有这个音 ch， 还有你加母音。You add a vowel to make it a word, to make a syllable. Well, we do something like that in English. But when the problems we have in English is that some sounds are kind of in the middle. Is it two vowels? Or is it a long vowel? Or is it something in between? So when we have a word, we'll just go with the short one. Or. How many sounds do you hear? Yeah, but is it or, is it Benkaida, or is it just or is it in between? Or. It's kind of like a syllable and a half, right? And that's one of the problems we get with this sound. Porsche. So you can get into Porsche. I said Porsche. Right? So we also have another problem with English. 中文都是一个音节，每个字是一个音节。英文一个字有可能是一个、两个、三个、20个音节 ，right? But when we say 中国科技大学，每个音节一样大、一样重。英文呢 ？China University of Technology， 我们会讲什么 ？China University of Technology. Right? Our syllables aren't all the same. We have some strong syllables. China. It's not China. China. Right? But we need to have the right syllable. When we say China, it's the first syllable. So what happens to this one? Right? So its sound gets weaker. Okay. What about university? Do we hear all of these vowels? We need university, we need 5 syllables. But are they all the sounds that we expect to hear? U, that's one we hear, right? Ver, because university. This one at the end, we need an E. universe. We don't need an it there. We can say China University of Technology. But when you say it like that, it really sounds weird, right? So, we have strong syllables where we have to hear the sound. It has to be the right sound. But we also have weak syllables. 轻的音节，他们的音变成right? It's not really important. So, when this happens, our syllables aren't all 中国科技大学，不是一样大, right? So in English, we can't really just talk about a word having 5 syllables. This one here, maybe we can say it has 3.5 syllables. But that doesn't really help, right? It doesn't help us to count them that way. But maybe it does help to understand some syllables aren't really a whole syllable. So when we get our 有时候是一个音节半, right? 有可能是半的音节. So when we say this word, bottle, 是几个音节？一定是两个嘛？所以它的母音是什么？Well, we don't want to hear this, right? So what we do here, the thing is, we have different ways to write the sounds for this one. We can write it as 2 syllables. Right? Bottle. 两个音节，它是从的音节 bottle. We can do that. But we can also do this. Okay. Now the thing is, this symbol here, you'll see different in different dictionaries. There are different ways to do this. Some people use this symbol for basically the same idea. It's an L with a line through, okay? But one of the easier ways is like this, because we can do it with other sounds. 没有中的音节，因为不是两个音节. Not really. It's more like 一个音节半. It's like a syllable and a half. Okay? So, we can do this with ul at the end. We can do it with other words. Like, how about this one? We can say button with an un in there. So we can do this as button. We don't really put an o sound in there. Un. But we can also say button. Button. Right? This is an So what happens here? 它是字形，对不对？是变成一点母音。It's kind of like your也是母音，是有字音的音。Right? So, if you can think about the problem like that, a lot of times we are taught 有字音有母音不一样. But that's great for elementary school. 国小就是可以的, right? But when you get older, you can think better. You can think differently, right? Like, for example, when you're a child, when you go to elementary school, 老师一定会说不可以偷东西, right? 一定不可以偷东西. It's wrong. It's always wrong. You should never steal anything. 可以拿别人的东西。So in elementary school, you learn that you can't just take other people's stuff, right? You have to ask first. 借我吗 right? But when you get older, you learn somebody's having an accident, somebody's having a heart attack, or somebody had an accident, somebody got hurt. I don't have time to ask you. I take your phone, I call the ambulance, right? Sometimes when you get older, you understand it's not always black and white. There's some gray, right? And it's the same thing with everything. So, with sounds as well, we have stuff in between. 中文也有半母音，对不对？一、五、日都是有子音的音，有母音的音。But when you're taught them in class, they don't really teach it that way. They're the sounds in the middle, right? 这样子就好。So, when we look at these, if we can't say 一定有两个音节，一定是这样子，有一个音节，两个音节是这样。We can't do that. So what can we do? 它的音跟它的音需要不一样，这个是重要的。Okay, so let's focus on that. How do you make the l sound? L 跟 w 还是 l 跟 o 有什么不一样？ How can we make those sounds different so that people can hear it? Because we have a lot of words like that, right? Little, bottle, metal, middle, metal. There's a lot of words like that. We also have words with R there. So, these sounds kind of go together. Meter. But is it me-ter or is it meter? Alright? So, maybe it's like a half syllable again, right? Okay. So, let's try a couple for practice. Can you think of any words that you have problems with? 跟开一样的问题。有这个 o 跟 or 是重要的 right? But let's try a few more. So. And there's one more, hang on. Hang on, missing one. Right. Or. I honestly forget if it's one R or two. Let's try one to start with. Let's throw that one out. Or we can just use a different one. I'll check that one afterwards. That one's easier to work with. Okay. So, mostly these sounds are